He saw a little girl digging through a dumpster. She's the missing heiress. Everyone was searching for Asterisk. The rain fell in sheets that November evening, turning the alley behind Marco's restaurant into a river of forgotten things. He was dragging the last bag of trash to the dumpster when he saw her, a small figure, no more than 7 years old, elbow deep in garbage, her tiny hands pulling at cardboard and plastic, with the practiced efficiency of someone who had done this too many times before. Her clothes hung off her frame like borrowed rags, soaked through and clinging to bones that shouldn't have been so visible. But it was her eyes that stopped Marco. Cold. Those weren't the eyes of a child. They were ancient, haunted, filled with a wariness that made his chest tighten with a pain he couldn't name. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button. Drop a comment below telling us what kindness means to you, and subscribe to Kindness Pulse so you never miss a story that might change how you see the world. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Marco Santos had owned his small Italian restaurant in downtown Seattle for 15 years, and he'd seen his share of people struggling. He'd fed the homeless, offered jobs to those who needed second chances, and never turned away anyone who came to his back door hungry. But something about this little girl pierced through every defense he'd built around his heart. She didn't look up when he approached, didn't startle or run. She just kept digging, her small fingers searching for something, anything edible. When Marco knelt down beside her, close enough to see the dirt caked under her fingernails and the bruises that mottled her thin arms, he spoke softly. "Hey there, sweetheart. Are you hungry?" The girl's hands finally stilled. She turned to look at him with those devastating eyes, and in a voice barely above a whisper, raw and broken, she said, "I'm always hungry." Asterisk. Marco brought her inside his closed restaurant, sitting her at the corner booth where the light was warmest. He made her pasta, simple spaghetti with butter and cheese. Because sometimes the simplest things are what broken souls need most. She ate like she might never eat again, her small hands gripping the fork with desperation, tears streaming silently down her dirty cheeks. Marco sat across from her, watching this tiny person devour food with a gratitude that made him want to weep. When she finally slowed down, her belly full perhaps for the first time in weeks, he gently asked her name. She looked at him for a long time, those old eyes studying his face as if trying to determine whether he could be trusted with the truth. Then she whispered, "Lily. My name is Lily." Asterisk. Something about the way she said it made Marco's blood run cold. Because 3 years ago, Lily Thornton, the 5-year-old daughter of real estate magnate Richard Thornton and his wife, Elena, had vanished from her bedroom in their Bellevue mansion. Despite a massive search that mobilized the FBI, state police, and hundreds of volunteers, she had never been found. Marco remembered the story because everyone did. The Thorntons had been everywhere, on television and newspapers, their faces twisted with anguish as they pleaded for their daughter's return. There had been ransom demands that led nowhere, suspects questioned and released, and eventually, as months turned into years, the public's attention drifted away. The Thorntons never stopped searching, never stopped believing, but the trail had gone cold. Asterisk. Now, sitting in Marco's restaurant, was a little girl with the right age, with eyes that held secrets too terrible for a child to carry, and a name that could be the answer to a family's nightmare. Marco's hands trembled as he pulled out his phone, searching for images he'd tried not to think of. When the photos loaded, old pictures of a smiling 5-year-old, with dark curly hair and those same distinctive green eyes, his heart nearly stopped. The girl in his restaurant was thinner, older, transformed by suffering, but there was no mistaking it. He'd found Lily Thornton. Asterisk. The hours that followed were a blur of phone calls and police officers, arriving with gentle voices and blankets. Marco stayed by Lily's side because she gripped his hand like a lifeline and wouldn't let go. She told him, in broken whispers, about the woman who had taken her, a nanny the Thorntons had trusted, who had disappeared the same night Lily did. She told them about the locked room, the darkness, the years of being moved from place to place, always hidden, always afraid. The woman had told her that her parents didn't want her anymore, that no one was looking for her, that she was alone in the world. Lily had believed it, and that belief had nearly destroyed the light in her completely. but some spark of hope had kept burning. And on this night, she'd finally escaped. She'd run until she couldn't run anymore. And when hunger overtook her, she'd ended up at that dumpster where Marco happened to be. Asterisk. When Richard and Lily Thornton arrived at the police station, just after 2 in the morning, their faces were masks of desperate hope. They'd been woken with a call that seemed impossible, that their daughter had been found. Marco watched as they saw her for the first time in 3 years. Watched as Elena's knees buckled and Richard caught her, both of them sobbing as they rushed forward. Lily looked up from her blanket, uncertain, confused by these strangers who were crying and reaching for her. But when Elena knelt down and whispered, "My baby, we never stopped looking for you. We never stopped loving you. You were never alone," something in Lily's expression cracked. The walls she'd built to survive began to crumble, and she fell into her mother's arms, crying like the child she'd been denied the chance to be. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Before we finish, if this story has moved you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Pulse. Your support helps us share more stories of hope and humanity. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. In the months that followed, Lily slowly began to heal, surrounded by parents who loved her fiercely, by therapists who understood trauma, and by a community that celebrated her return. She began to laugh again. She began to trust again. The woman who had taken her was found and arrested, and though justice could never return the stolen years, it gave the family closure. The Thorntons created a foundation in Lily's name, dedicated to finding missing children, and Marco became family, because he'd done what his heart told him was right. And in doing so, he'd given a family back their world. Lily learned that she'd never been forgotten, never been unloved, and that even in our darkest moments, there are people searching for us, refusing to give up. Perhaps that's the truth we all need to remember, that kindness isn't just a feeling, but a force that can literally save lives, that can turn tragedy into triumph, that can light the way home for those lost in the darkness. Keep your heart open to those who need you, because you never know when an ordinary evening might become the night you help someone find their way back home.